Hi everyone, my name's Anna. Welcome to project 519. Today we're making a gorgeous card, and I do mean we are making a gorgeous card today. I think it looks very complicated and it isn't. When you see it put together and you see the finished results, anybody you give this card to would think, oh hey, you've spent a long time on this, and you would secretly know that you haven't. It's all just a little bit of die cutting and shadow layers. Everything I do use I shall always put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. You can always get in touch with me through Facebook, through YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media links that you need are at the very end. And I'd just like to say, please tag me if you add a photo of something you've created, or you're in a group and you put something that I've inspired you and you put my name. Please tag me, because I won't see it if you don't tag me. And it is great to see what you've created, and especially if I've inspired you in some way, because I do love hearing from you and I love seeing your pictures, because I'm really nosy actually. So please sit back, relax and enjoy today's project. For this project we're going to be using the Decorative Edge dies from Anna Griffin. We're going to be using this one particularly, and we're going to use the shadow layer as well. We're going to use that 4 times, both the shadow layer and the actual ornate layer. We're also going to be using an embossing folder from the Garden Cuttings collection. Now this is quite an old one, so if you remember it, well done. We're going to be using the actual border embossing folder, and it's called Briar Rose. Beautiful embossing folder. Gorgeous collection actually is this one. But we're going to just be using it to highlight something. So again, maybe something used in a different way, and it's only a touch of embossing. And we're also going to be using the Treasury collection, the mini stamps, dies and words. We're going to be using the stamp that says birthday wishes. So there's quite a bit of die cutting for the decorative edge, but not a lot more. We're starting off with a base card, and this is from the Perfect Patterns birthday collection from Anna. Now on the back of the cards, when you buy the cards from Anna in the patterned collections, it's already got the handmade stamp on it. So all you have to do is fill in your name. I add more details because I add details about the project we're doing. But that's my name, Anne-Marie, for anybody that doesn't know. And I just add that so that if I was to give this card to somebody, they would know who's made it. So all I've done is just use my bone folder along the edge there to make sure that we've got a nice sharp crease. So we can decorate the inside of the card. Now the inside of the card is really simple, but it's a good quick option if you have to make a card quickly. What I've done is I've taken another one of the Perfect Patterns cards, because you get 2 of each design, and I've trimmed it down to fit the inside of the actual card. And I've stamped using the Treasury stamp, birthday wishes. I've used one of my own clear, it's not clear at all, as you can see, it's like a plum coloured embossing powder. And I've heated it up, and I've got a little bit of a shine on there. I don't know if you can pick that up. And I've also made a mistake. Now, obviously I did this intentionally. So you can see underneath, pointing it out to you, I've got kind of like the impression of when I've stamped it, I've picked up the edge of the stamp. So I flicked the embossing powder off that because I didn't want to heat emboss it as well. I don't want to waste the powder. So I've kept the embossing powder to the actual words, and I've got my error there. So I wanted to show you that before I put it in, because I've got a great way of covering that, and it's going to look like I'd meant to do it. So I've cut the layers slightly smaller than the card, and I'm just popping it into the centre. Now if I hadn't have made a mistake, that could be a really pretty quick insert. We don't need to add anything else, but I am going to because I think it would be nice just to cover that little area. So I've taken some of the flowers from the Painted Garden collection and I'm just positioning it just slightly over my area. And then I'm going to take two more and I'm going to add them into both of the corners, going slightly off the card insert, just to the card edge. And then the second one in the second corner. There we go. Now, how pretty is that? And you can't see my area. There's still enough room to add your tunia from. It's going to match perfectly to the outside of the card. If you don't want to add your extra rows, you don't have to. Just keep them in the corners. Just a pretty way of covering up that little boo-boo, and no one would ever know. So now we can turn our attention to the front of the card. I'm using my Anna Griffin bone folder again, just to make sure that's a nice sharp crease on the outside. Now my first layer I've actually gone ahead and created, and I've used the Decorative Edge dies. I'm going to show you the second layer first, because that will show you how I've put the layers together. I've die cut using the Anna Griffin metallic 7x5 layers. I've used a pink one for this. The previous layer is the cerise. And all I've done is I've added the die with just about an inch, maybe just under, between each die cut. So I've placed the die on the actual cardstock. I've used the masking tape, and then I've turned it round and I've die cut at the other edge, leaving the gap in the middle. But then I've cut for the shadow layer using the Rose Designer Collection, the script. Now on the back of the actual fancy layer, I've got foam tape down the centre, and I'm going to add the shadow layer to the actual ornate layer, like so. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to add the other layer for the shadow to the other side. Hope that makes sense. So basically I've used both the decorative and the shadow layer of the decorative edges, and I'm marrying them up. Now I know you're thinking, well, they don't meet in the middle, so that's not quite right. That's fine, because I've used scraps for mine, and I'm going to show you an ingenious method of making the centre look great. So maybe you want to use scraps from a different collection, or maybe you want to use something completely different to make your decorative edges. So I can put that to one side now. I've shown you how to put the shadow layer underneath it. So my first layer is the cerise, and it's the cerise metallic cardstock, and then underneath the Rose Designer Collection I've got 3D foam on the back of this, and I'm just positioning it through the centre of the card. Next I can add the layer that we've just seen how I've put it together, and that's going to marry up nicely to the previous layer, and press that down so you can see how they just look like gorgeous lace. Press that down through the centre. Now to cover the centre bit where my edges don't come together, because I've used the scrap, I've cut out a scrap of the Rose Designer Collection cardstock, and I've just got flat tape on the back of it, and then I've cut a smaller layer of the pink metallic cardstock, the same as on the layer that we've just added, and this is where I've embossed it, and I've embossed it using the Briar Rose folder, and I'm going to position it. I've just got flat tape on the back, and I'm going to position it through the centre of the layer with the script on. So this could be any pattern that you have, anything from your stash. So we've just layered it over each other. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm just going to run that through the centre of our lace layers, our decorative edge layers. They really do look like lace. And then that covers the centre of whatever cardstock you've used if it doesn't quite meet in the middle. Next, I'm going to add the sentiment. Now the sentiment is from the Favourite Sentiment collection. I've just got 3D foam on the back of it at either side. I'm going to pop it roughly in the middle. There we go. And then I've got 2 of the decoupage flowers that I've made up together in the layers from the Painted Garden card making kit. Now this is one of my favourite card making kits ever, and it is so pretty, and the flowers in it, they layer up perfectly. Anna's added all the details on the back for you to be able to make the layers one after another. You just follow the numbers and add them with 3D foam together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these flowers to the top. We'll go for the larger flower towards the top. And there we go. Putting it to either side of the sentiment. And then the second one towards the bottom, like that. And then to finish the card, I'm going to add 2 bows either side of my sentiment through the centre. And just adding it to the edge of the sentiment. And how pretty is that? Gorgeous colours. The mix of colours with the flowers and the lace from the Decorative Edge dies. And then the centre all matches perfectly. Stands up. Definitely a mantelpiece pleaser. And I love the colours and the lace and the script underneath it. It's just so pretty. So those are your layers. So you've got a few layers, but I think that will go in a normal envelope. You wouldn't need anything special. Maybe a little bit of padding across the top. But what a great card. What a great way to use your scraps for the layers underneath. And then maybe you've got a few flowers left over from one of your card making kits that you can decoupage together and use. Such a gorgeous card, and you could adapt it to whatever occasion you wanted it to go to. Would make a great wedding card, or a get well card, or a thinking of you card, or even a sorry for your loss card, or anything that you need to make, because it's not overwhelming and it's not too OTT, shall we say. It's just a beautiful card. Now, please check my blog because there's plenty more photos on there. Please give me the thumbs up. Please share with your crafty friends. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's the shares that help pay for me to do the videos, basically. There's no other way to say it. So they kind of like, the shares will get more people interested and more viewers, and that's the way it goes. And it is great to be able to bring you great demonstrations with gorgeous products to give you versatility as well. So I do hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love hearing from you, so, you know, get in touch. And I know, again, I sound like a parrot repeating myself, but I do love hearing from you, and I love seeing what you create as well. So check the blog for other pictures of this project and plenty more other projects. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.